Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the ANZCAR Thursday's Thunder Series, coming to you live from the Auto Club Speedway for round 6, and the racing will be starting in approximately 20 to 25 minutes, but we have a lot to cover. Before we get into it though, I'd like to welcome my co-host tonight, Bailey Hall. Welcome Bailey, it's your I think first time calling NASCAR, so should be fun for you.
Yeah, thanks Bernie for inviting me back into the commentary box. It's going to be a great night for sure. Xfinity vehicles around Auto Club Speedway. If the mic come a bit closer, should be a good one, Bernie, and I can't wait to get them out on track.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely awesome. We've got 22 drivers here tonight in the Xfinity series, folks, to battle it out. So the field's a little bit down, but it's still a very good number. But before we've got to get into that, of course, we've got to look at the trucks. The trucks ran here Monday night, and they put on a great show. And, of course, as always, in the pre-race show, we give you a trucks highlight. We're going to give you that now. Edward Foster is your commentator for the highlights reel. So we'll cross to him now, and we'll be back with the results of that race very, very shortly.
Hello and welcome to round 6 of the ANZCAR Monday Night Truck Series. It's hard to believe we're up to round 6 already. The season is absolutely flying by. And we're looking at Rob Lee there, who came from the pole position. Rob Lee's a name from way back in the old V8s Online Truck Series days, making his return now to the league racing side of things, the ovals with ANZCAR, and he's leading Bruce Smith away there. You can see Daryl Hockey and Todd Maxfield. Daryl's quite new. Todd Maxfield's been with us for a while, running together there in the midfield, and Bruce Smith making a lunge for the lead there, just in front of Rob Lee and also Ash Lear from Torque Inc., who was another name from back in the V8s Online Truck days. Matt Danson and Brett Hender there running together, and it looks as though Jason Nicholas there just putting his nose down onto the apron and turning himself around there. On the restart, Rob Lee leading away once again from the usual suspects, Simon Thomas, Ash Lear in there also. As far as the midfield battle, you can see Tim Dawes and Brett Hender there battling away with Maxfield. Now just looking back at Simon Thomas, and I believe Ash Lear just hanging there right on his rear bumper. TJ Brown and Todd Maxfield there running together, and you can see Daryl Hockey just leading James Robbie and also Nicholas Walsh. Michelle Callow working his way up, just going past Tim Dawes and looking at getting on the back of Mirko Doutnack. Simon Thomas and Bruce Smith showing what a great circuit Auto Club is for a two-wide racing. You can really get both grooves going here. And Matt Danson just keeping a watching brief behind that front pack. The battle up front continues, the same people in there amongst it. Ash Lear just hanging back off those guys, looking to put some pressure on. Just see, I think it was Dwayne Priest there just getting around, and TJ Brown involved in that also, which has brought out the caution. Race off pit road, Bruce Smith won that, putting a lot of boot into that number 20 truck to get it out of the pit lane in front of everybody else, and he's rewarded with a front start from that restart as we follow Mirko Doutnack here. Tim Dawes and Todd Maxfield got together. Todd was penalised 5 points for his part in that particular accident. And on the restart again, you can see Bruce Smith just leading away from the same guys who've been running up front all night, swapping positions but always running together at the front. Mirko Doutnack just looking to follow Matt Danson through the pack here at the moment, as Matt Danson pushes his way through, as we've become so accustomed to seeing him doing. Bruce Smith just starting to get a bit of a gap on the other guys. I'm not sure if the other guys are having a bit of a battle there, but that's just allowed him to get a bit of a gap away. You can actually see how much he's leading by at that stage. He's got a good few lengths there over Lee and Thomas, and Danson coming through. Mirko Doutnack having just fallen back just a touch. Looks like the green flag pit stops just starting there. Rob Lee just diving for the lane, leaving Simon Thomas and Matt Danson to battle it out, as they have done for much of the season already. continuing to hold things too wide. They've reeled Bruce Smith in. I'm not sure if he burnt up his tyres, but he's sitting there behind Rob Lee now, and is now coming under a lot of pressure there from Thomas. And Danson now making a move on Thomas, with Smith having fallen back off the tail of those two. Rob Lee running incredibly strongly for somebody who's been away for so long. He must have been doing official races or something like that, because he's been able to come back and go straight on the pace immediately. And while Bruce Smith and Thomas continue to battle now, with Mirko Doutnak and Matt Danson also up in front of them. And as the race finished, Matt Danson took the win from Rob Lee, Mirko Doutnak finishing in third place, Ray Schroeder coming home in fourth, and Bruce Smith was rounding out the top 5. So that'll be all from this round of the truck series. Round 7 coming to you next week from Martinsville Speedway. Should be a very close run thing there. It always is at Martinsville. So until then, goodbye and good night.
Well, there you go, folks. That's the highlights of Monday night truck series, and they raced, of course, at Auto Club. It looked like earlier on it was fairly eventful, but a very good race. So just going over those results once more. Mirko Doutnak, he came third. Rob Lee making a return to the series. A very good return debut, coming home second. Matt Danson, he finished in first place. So looking at the point score as it stands now, we'll bring that up now. Here is your top 10 of the truck series. Matt Danson, he extends that lead to 276 points. Mirko Doutnak, he moved into second, and he's sitting on 214 points. Tim Dawes, third, 208 points. We've got Dwayne Preece, he's in fourth on 203. Nicholas Walsh, fifth on 199 points. Bruce Smith is classified sixth on 188. Todd Maxfield, 184. Excuse me, someone was just coughing there. Sorry about that, folks. Nicholas Shields in 8th on 165 points. Steve Hoppett, he was trying to crack it in round 3, and he's done that. He's now in the top 10, and he's sitting in 9th on 152 points. James Robbie also moves into the top 10. He's sitting on 151 points. So, Ryan, that was quite an interesting race they had on Monday night.
Yeah, these trucks normally put on a pretty good show around the Auto Club Speedway, but especially with the update they had a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. Trucks, it's really helped out the race, especially mile track.
Yeah, it certainly has, and the standard of driving was very high there. They had a few incidents earlier on, but as I was saying, once the field got stretched out there, they had a good run to the end. That's what I'm hoping we're going to see here tonight for the Xfinity series, and we're about to get into that, folks. They're out there practicing at the moment, but before we get into that, Ryan, you know your NASCAR like I know my pillow. As far as Auto Club goes, what can the viewers expect to see tonight?
So the setup, I drove it a little bit today, just to kind of get a feel out for it, because the trucks are a little bit loose, whereas the Xfinity cars, they're a lot tighter. What you're going to see is a lot of mid-corner guys trying to catch up to the guy in front of them by trying to get on the gas early, and they're going to hit the wall, especially going out of 4. The track is deceivingly wide. The track itself is wide, it's deceiving in the corners. I feel like you've got a lot more space than you're going to have on the exit, so you're going to see a lot of guys make huge runs straight away as the guys start to wear off the tires a little bit, and the high line might become the third line with passing, but you want that low line doing the actual race. So when you're doing your laps kind of by yourself.
Yeah, what about tyre wear? How, when last time I spoke to you, we were talking about how the car was going to tighten up. I think that was back at Las Vegas. What can we expect as far as Auto Club goes as these stints run to the end?
It's really going to depend on your driving style. A lot of these guys will probably drive extremely hard into the corner, which will wear off your front tires and make it really tight, or they'll try to drive off really hard, and that can cause either way depending on how you're driving it. Either it can make the car tight or loose how you're driving it. So it's really just driver dependent on how the car is going to wear out. This track really helps out with both, how you want to drive it. So it's going to be really interesting, especially if we get a long green flag run like we had at Vegas or Atlanta. So we'll see if we can't get some green flag stops in. You got about 45 to 50 laps before you need to start looking at pitting in. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys can do.
Yeah, definitely will be. And as far as the racing goes here tonight, folks, tonight's race, 80 laps around here, no fast repairs, unlimited incident points. But as always, Ryan, if they get into the big one, their night's pretty much done, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the good thing about this track is because it is so wide, you can normally avoid it. But a lot of the wrecks that happen here are at the exit of the corner, and because even though it is really wide, everybody's using one line to come off the corner, and it's right up next to that wall, trying to use every bit of the speed they can get to get down these extremely long straightaways. So if there's a big crash, it normally happens on the exit of turn 2. Either somebody will move up a little bit too fast and tap somebody on the exit, or somebody will just get the other guy down and ends up wrecking them still. So it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of wrecks we have. I don't predict we're gonna have a huge big crash like you normally see, just because that's the way this track runs. Normally you keep space, still run consistent lap times. It'll be fun to see.
Yeah, it definitely will be, and we can see the guys out there at the moment in the final part of their practicing. If we bring up the standings of practice at the moment, Jason Martin, he's set the fastest time, 40.192. Then we've got Danny G second. He's only 0.14 thousandths of a second off. And then Stephen Clark right behind him. Norman Clark fourth. Keep an eye on him tonight. Let's see if he has a good run. Riley Curtis rounds out your top 5. But Bailey, this is your first ANZCAR meeting in the commentary booth. What do you think you'll be expecting here tonight?
Bernie, it should be a pretty good night. I'm hoping for a lot of green flag racing. It's always good to see this cars. Nice tight racing. I'm trying to see the cars go a couple too wide. Trying to get a couple of lanes going on the track. I've seen it happen before around Auto Club, and these guys should be capable of it, so it should be a good night.
Yeah, I think it definitely should be. The standard of racing in this series is just getting better and better all the time. And, the boys have impressed us from round 1. Now that they're getting their heads around this car and the setup, we can expect some really good racing once again tonight. Should give a shout out to the voice of ANZCAR, Mr. Steve Hoppett, or Mr. Eastlake as we like to call him. Unfortunately, he can't be here tonight, folks, because he's supposedly working. Although I can see he's in the chat channel, so I'm not sure how much work he's actually getting done over there, Ryan.
No, I don't know of a workplace I've ever been in that allows me to watch some racing, but I want to get a job like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. But of course, Steve will be back with us next week, and he'll be joining me. But we're going to get into the qualifying soon, folks. And with your commentary team tonight is going to be Ryan Shelton and Bailey Hall. You guys ready to take on the com roll?
Absolutely, we got it.
Okay, it's all up to you now. No pressure.
One of the interesting bits I want to just kind of point out is Josh Mickelman, the number 2 Mero, currently sitting just outside of the top 10 in practice speed. One of our fastest guys, so we'll see if he can't pick that up through the race. Between that and also Jason Martin does not have as big of a gap as we normally see. Normally we see about a tenth a gap. Right now, he's the only one in the ones, but just barely in the ones. So it's qualifying is going to be super interesting. We'll see who's going to go out first. We'll see what we got.
Yeah.
Sounds like we got a few going out. Kai Sloggett will be the first car out on the track here. Here in that number 6 MFR Camaro. He'll be our first test dummy. See what kind of lap times he'll put down. He had a practice time of a 40.281, which was good for a top 10 practice, but we'll see where he qualifies here. He's just rolling around, getting the speed up. You'll see speeds upwards, 300 kilometers an hour going into turn 1. One thing you've seen here, Kai Sloggett is just running the top line. See a lot of the faster guys, when they're going for a hot lap, they'll go all the way below that white line, all the way down to the grass when coming across that front stretch. Pretty good art. He uses most of the art, most of the corner, all the track that he needs there.
Yeah, so he's having a good run out here at the moment, Ryan.
Absolutely. Really good run. Bailey, do you have anybody you're looking at as we see Kai's lap run through?
Yeah, I'm looking at track number 29, Ryan, of Jake Maloney. He's, from what I've been told and seen previously, he's done some beautiful work in this series so far. As he jumps below the white line as he comes across the checkered flag, and he'll be trying to start off his second lap. As he's pulled off a 40.238 for his first lap, Ryan.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to shut it down. He probably lost. He probably got a really tight through turn 1 and 2, and he's just going to go ahead and shut it down. That'll be the end of his qualifying. He ends up with a 40.23. Be good currently for pole. As Kai Sloggett runs across again, he will end up with a 3.23. Norman Clark, who had a really good practice run, not so much the same when it comes to qualifying. A 40.6, which is not great. Practice with a 40.2, so we'll see if he can improve on that second lap. See here with Norman Clark, he just went below that white line through 3 and 4. You can do it just a little bit. Don't recommend it because it is a different banking, but it's not so much so that you can't utilize it if you're on brand new tires. But he will not improve, so he will qualify with a 40.66. That's not extremely good. Currently, we only have 10 drivers who have put down a lap time. Jake Maloney is still currently the leader.
Yeah, Ryan, you still got another 6 or so tenths, just over 6 tenths. There's Stephen Clark, he puts in a good lap. He puts in a 40.273, Ryan, and that will put him on second, provisional second at the moment. And that only puts him about 4 tenths away from Jake Maloney. As I was just saying, he's had quite a bit of a gap, 6 or 7 tenths, and now when he drops down to about 4 to 5 tenths, it's going to be quite a big battle down the front at the moment.
Yeah, starting to see the fast guys show up at the top. You got Matthew Clowett, who had a really good run at Rockingham and ended up having a wreck in Las Vegas. I think he finished in the top 5. So he's back up there. He's currently 3rd place, as you're saying. Stephen Clark currently in 2nd, 4 100ths off of Jake Maloney. And when you're talking about oval racing, 4 100ths is a pretty large gap. It's going to be a really close race between these guys up to the front, like it normally is. Really good racing. Hopefully, you're going to have at least green flag stop once. That will help out the racing, especially at this track. So let's take a look at Dave Douglas here. He just finished up his lap. It's like find him real quick. Dave Douglas. Here we go. He had a 40.37. Currently 5th. He's on his second lap. Normally your second lap isn't faster unless you make a big mistake. He gains 4/1000ths of a second. And he'll get a 3.66, which won't move him up, but it'll at least give him a little bit of insurance as Jake Maloney stay at top at 40.23. We are still waiting on Jason Martin, Stephen Williams, Darren McKenzie, Bruce Smith, Nicholas Walsh, Josh McCord, and Thomas Haynes all make a lap. So we have Josh McLemore, who is out there on the track, as we also just saw Jason Martin roll off pit road. So we'll see if Josh McLemore can improve on that 40.72. We should qualify a little bit higher. He's one of our best racers. Qualifying, not so much. I would put him in the Craig Lowndes sort of driver, as he will qualify top 10-ish or so. As we just saw him just put it straight in the wall, he might just want to go ahead and restart and go for a better. We do see Jason Martin running. He's starting his first lap. This is the series points leader. He currently is winning just about every single race that we've run here, or run anywhere. Bailey, this is the guy that we're going to be watching all night long. He is the class field, and he has been by far also.
Yeah, rocking the No Fear Mustang at the Xfinity. He comes into turn 3 and 4. Ryan is there. Looks to be getting a nice run through then. Down on the white line as he exits off 4. See what lap time he'll pull off in the number 21. As he comes along the straight now, drop down low to the grass. As he crosses the line, we'll see where he comes across. As times come through, he goes to the top of the board with a 40.187. Ryan, that is a quick lap there for him.
Yeah, that's an extremely quick lap. It definitely is showing that he is very, very, very fast, and he will not take anything less than first. And he's also a man of no words. He has nothing to say other than "I want to go fast," and that's about what he does every single week. Shows that here currently about half a tenth on the field, which in oval racing, you're going to see very quickly that he will start to move his way across and start to drive away from these guys.
Yeah, that's right, Ryan. And half a tenth, guys, if you don't know, in oval racing can be a make it or break it point. Is if you're gaining half a tenth a lap, 2 laps and you're gaining a second, and it just adds up over time. We're still waiting 3 people to qualify. Now 2 as Josh Mickelborg qualifies out on the track. He puts off a 40.511, as that puts him in 12th at the moment. The number 2 Chevy is he's put it into the wall. Or that one there. A couple more drivers to qualify. Nicholas Walsh and Bruce Smith. Not sure if they will be qualifying at this point in time. Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know about Nicholas Walsh, as he is not currently in the server. But Bruce Smith, he is in the server, but he has not run a lap. With only a minute left, I do not see him able to be here. So this is going to be your field. Jason Martin will take his pole position, as we could guess from the start. Thomas Haynes did not practice at all, and he will be qualifying in the 7th. That's going to be one to watch. But the biggest guy to watch is going to be Josh McLemore in the world. He is. He was definitely our fastest guy during the truck series. Him and Jason Martin drove it all out. And I think this one's going to be a little bit rough, Josh McLemore, and I'm going to try to find a way to move up to the front. Yeah, we got Darren McKenzie also, who also qualified for the the 08 Ford Mustang. He's normally up towards the front. He's one of our front runners, top 10 drivers. Currently the last driver on the qualifying charts, 22nd of those who did take time, like I said, Smith, Walsh did not take time. They'll be starting in the last row. But let's roll through the qualifying order while these guys start to ready up and get out onto the track. We have Jason Martin starting pole, as we kind of figured that one was going to happen. 40.186, the only driver in this entire session who's put it into the one. Jason Martin. Start beside him will be Jake Maloney. And then in the second row, you have Stephen Clark and Matthew Clowett, who qualified extremely well. Toyota, he will start fourth. Fifth belong to Kai Sloggett. Beside him will be Dave Doug. Row 4 is going to have Thomas Heath and Phil Otto. A couple of guys who were used to being in the top 10, but they have some faster guys behind them, so that's going to be pretty interesting if they can hold in those top 10 spots. We have Matt Danson, a driver we haven't seen a whole lot of, Stephen Williams. Both of them will round out that top 10. So our top 10 is definitely mixed up between what we're normally seeing. Qualifying and the race are two separate. Row 6 is rounded out by Danny G and Josh Moore, two of our top 5 drivers. They will start in the 6th row. Those are going to be the two guys to watch throughout the. Riley Curtis will start in 13th. Dwayne Priest will be in the 14th. Darren Lord and Roger Clark will be 15th, 16th. The rest of the field, Gavin Windsor, Craig Lawless, watch in that top 15. He will start. And we have the number 7 of Norman Clark being in the 9th position, and Daniel Stevens will be in the 20th position. The final rows will end up being James Zeitz, Darren McKenzie, Bruce Smith, and Nicholas Walsh. Field of 24 will take 80 laps around here. And Bailey, as you just watched the qualifying, what's going to be who's your favorite to come in second place?
Oh, geez, it's going to be a tough one for sure after watching practicing qualifying Ryan. I'm definitely going to have to put my money on one of the top 3 at the point in time. I could see probably Jake Maloney coming up second, but also Stephen Clark will have a good red hot crack. I'm going to have to put my money on how it sits at the moment for qualifying for 1, 2, 3. So I'll go Jason Martin, Jake Maloney, and Stephen Clark.
So you're going with the start. The way they start is the way they're going to finish. That's with the talent we have. I do believe you might not be wrong. But as we've seen in this series, what you think is probably not going to happen. The racing is really close. See, Jason Martin will bring this field around at a very, very slow 125 k's an hour. He will bring us to the green. See what kind of jump. He's really good on these restarts, as he's got a lot of practice being in that first position. And he is green. They are off. The number 5 car went straight to the top, making it 3 wide already. Number 5 of Phil Otto went straight to the top lane and tried to make it 3 wide and make a couple of passes. And these guys up front were single file and they're double file out this place on back. I saw it leads that 5th place position as Matthew Clowett, who started out tries to go back underneath Kai Sloggett, who started on the inside of the row behind him to get past him again. And he will make that pass happen, and they will be single file throughout the.
Yeah, Ryan, is the leaders are currently out single file. As you see, Jason Martin is about clear by about 5 cars to follow back to Jake Maloney, Stephen Clark, Matthew Clowett. They're all battling out at the moment. It's shaping up to be a good race so far. As the 6th of Kai Sloggett and Thomas Hens gets by him, taking 5th position. He's already up 2 positions.
Now, one thing we didn't miss is Craig Lawless. Craig Lawless, he started in that 18th position. He is now dropped to last. He's in 23rd position after making a few faces. Going through turn 1 and 2, he just overdrove it, put it almost into the wall. He's going to have to make a drive back, as we also now see the number 2 of Josh Mickelmore making his way through. He was in 10th, just made the pass of Bill Otto for 9th place, as he has already started to make his drive, and Danny G is right there with him in 8th.
Mackenzie seems to be having a bit of trouble. He's about 25 seconds away off the pack. We're not quite sure what happened to him, but the 08 over Mackenzie seems to be in no man's land at the moment. We'll have a lot of work to go to get back up into the pack, which maybe it could be too early to know, but it might affect him later on in the race unless we see a yellow flag, Ryan.
Yeah, it looks like he actually started from the pits. It's like he just wanted to have his own race to himself and try to get away from everybody. May have not had the amount of practice that he wanted, so he's about half a lap down. He's on the other side of the track from the leaders, as we see everybody currently is single file except for the Clark brother. They're side by side and a little bit further back from side by side. They're racing for the 13th position, as Norman Clark is in the yellow car and Roger is in the 09. These guys have been side by side throughout the entire race. So Norman can make it inside stick. I don't think inside is going to be the way you want to pass, as Roger shows you. And outside is where you want to pass. In the 12 car, Bruce Smith is going to take advantage of him being on that bottom line. See if he can't make that pass happen on Norman.
As you say that, in the background, Matt Dawson in the 23 car. He had a few electrical issues on the motor, and the pit team down in the pit lane of, we get that fixed about 3 laps down. Unfortunately, the officials have allowed him to come back out on track, and he'll jump onto the green flag racing, but he's got a lot of work to do to get back onto the lead lap.
Yeah, what he's going to want is, he's going to want quick cautions so he can get that lucky dog back, get his lap back. So that's what he's going to want to see, but from what we're seeing on track is we're seeing a Congo line of 22 cars making laps currently. Jason Martin is leading. We're about to finish up lap 6, and the tires, they're starting to get some of these guys. They're starting to run a little bit wide, as we saw Matthew Cloten at 54 run a little wide. Thomas Heanes ran a little bit wide also, and that's going to let Kyle Sloggett get underneath of them. And we're going to see if Kai can make that line work. Now, the way to make the inside line work, especially through 1 and 2, is that you want to run about as high as the car height or above you is. You want to run basically right on their door and try to get as much exit speed as you can and slide up into them, or slide up in front of them going through 1 and 2. Let's see if it doesn't. Nope, the 52 of Thomas Heanes just lets him in. Or he goes up behind Kai Sloggett, and I think he's going to try and go for that bottom line, or he's just going to try to conserve his tires just a bit. So I see these guys just move around as the tires wear off. Really close for Thomas Heanes. He was right on the back bumper for Kai Sloggett.
And just to let everyone know, fastest lap out on the track so far is a 40.357 by Matt Dawson. He set that on lap number 2. And, that is one hell of a quick lap there so far in the race. But Jason Martin now has got quite a fair bit of a lead. Ryan, he's got probably about 10 car lengths, maybe a bit more, as that build's going to keep growing. But Matty Cloward at the moment is all over the back of Sandman as they go too wide into turn number 1.
Yep, and Sandman does have that line that he's been looking for, but he will not be able to capitalize on it, as Matt Clowett will make the position in the 3rd place, and he's going to be looking for Jake Maloney next.
He's charging up the field at the moment. He's going to try getting him on the inside here as he puts the nose up on the inside and tucks it down low on the line, and Jake Maloney will let him go for now, and he'll have that position back later on, he says. But Jake gets a better run off the corner off turn number 4, and he's all over the back bumper of him at the moment. Sandman Clark not too far behind them, a couple of lengths, and these two are just going to go see how they go into turn one. Is Jake Maloney lets him go, but Sandman Clark's all over the back of Maloney now. If we jump back a bit further, Ryan in the field, Thomas Hins now, he's trying to get that position back on Kai Sloggett for 5th position. How do you think these two will battle out shortly?
It's going to be whoever uses the tires more. As this race is still green flag after running our 10th lap that we just completed here. Kai Sloggett is probably using a lot more tires than what Thomas Hins is. And I think probably you start to see some of these guys letting these drivers go. That they're thinking in their head, it's gonna be green for a really long time. We want to make sure to have better tires later on. So you start to see things like Jake Maloney letting Matthew Clowett by, and he's thinking about tire wear later on in the race. As probably Thomas Hins is also, as he's just kind of rolling around in the position, not really trying to make the pass, but he's not really getting real close to number 6 of Kai Sloggett, as Kai Sloggett is making time up on Stephen Clark and Jake Maloney, who are side by side racing for that 3rd.
Yep, the field's doing pretty well at the moment too. A lot of single file out there, just snaking their way up and down the track, trying to find the right groove, pull the groove in at the moment. So it's looking to be a good race so far, and if you look back further in the pack, the 09 car of Roger Clark and Norman Clark, they're still battling out there, Ryan, and doesn't look like that will be ending anytime soon, even though they're still back in the 5th, 14th, 15th. It looks like the 7 of Norman Clark is now ducked under, and he's trying to get that position back.
Yeah, as with brothers, you always want to beat the other one. It doesn't matter if you win the race or you come in last. You want to beat the guy who grew up with that. So it's actually not his brother, his father. So when you have a father-son relationship, as the son, you want to show your dad who you are, and the father, you want to keep your son in his place. So these guys are going to run each other down all the way until the checkered flag flies. That's
would also be quite interesting, Ryan, is if they are going to run on the same pit strategy, are they going to work together maybe later on in the race and try and push themselves back through the field and maybe in the last 10-15 laps battle it out again? Are they going to run on the same pit strategy? Are they going to run a separate pit strategy? You can see which one works a bit better. As you said earlier, the pit window, for if we do have a green flag stop, is quite late in the race.
Yeah, it's going to be probably around the 45 to 50 mark when you'll start to see the kill stops. Now, tires, you might actually see people start stopping in about the 35 to 30 range. How they are about the race, they think they're going to go for longer. They might try to do a little bit of an undercut, go for 35, 38 lap, because you can make it from there. But you'll also see some of these guys who are green for the entire wait and hold off without trying to catch up later on. That's what we call clear through Vegas. Or we saw Stephen Clark had actually pitted really early, and he had a huge lead up on Jason Martin. The caution came out, and it just bit him in the butt a little bit. And we just saw on our screens the number 7 car of Norman Clark brushed that wall. So like we were saying earlier, they're going to be racing each other as hard as they race anybody else, if not harder. And that damage is really going to hurt them throughout the road. Track is so aero sensitive. You have that fender damage like that, it's just going to ruin that car. So he's going to really want a yellow so he can fix that damage as much as he can. So see, see the big battle is starting to heat up for about that 5th, the 6th, the 7th position as Dave Douglas gets a huge run off turn 2 and Jake Maloney runs all the way down to the bottom. So he may have issues. Oh, he's hit the wall. Jake Maloney has hit the wall and his car is ruined. That's why he's further back. He actually tapped the wall. Lap 16 racing with Kai Sloggett. He just got tight, as we were saying in the pre-race. He's just going to go ahead and take his pit stop a little early. He's going to continue the race. That is a lot of damage on that car. Yep, and so it looks like Jake Maloney has exited this session. We'll continue watching this battle from Thomas Heens and Kai Sloggett for the 5th position, for the 4th position. As Thomas Heens will take that 4th position this lap, but it's not by much. It's only balanced by the lip of the car there.
Just a fraction of a second between the two of them as Thomas Heens gets back by, but Sloggett doesn't look like he's going to give up anytime soon. But yeah, Dave Douglas and Danny G behind him, they're coming up, but they've got a bit of a draft happening there on Kai Sloggett, and they were able to gain a couple car lengths there, Ryan, and now they look like they're going to be in the battle here now, and it's between about 4th to 7th at the moment. They're having a good little battle, but maybe if we see them bunch up a little bit more, it'll even get more exciting.
Yeah, with these tires the way they are currently, after about 20 laps, you're about a second, maybe a little bit more off what you qualified on. So you start to see these guys are trying to figure out how these cars are driving differently than what they're used to. Driving qualifying laps, you have a lot more grip than what you do when you're 20 laps into a run. That bottom lane is really starting to heat up. The actual track heat up as more drivers get on that lane, and you just really start to see who's the better driver, as we see Danny G really get a good run off turn 4, and he's gonna try to make the pass on Dave Douglas, and Dave Douglas has no answer for him down that straightaway as Danny G will move up into position, the starting position of 11th.
As we said earlier in the race, Brian, it is quite a long straight away. The straights are quite long, and when they come down the straight, they've got a lot of speed carrying through the corners. And he said, if you go in too hot, you eat up your tyres. You come out too hot, you eat up your tyres again.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of oval racing. You have to be a little bit smooth with it. So a lot of times you just want to kind of just roll the car in, use a little bit of wheel, use least amount of wheel as you possibly use in it, and then just kind of roll back onto the gas and roll on out. That's the fastest way. That's also the best way for the car. That's the best way for the tires too, as the spot for 5th is starting to heat up as Danny G has closed up on Kai Sloggett here in the 5th position.
Yeah, as we get about the quarter way through the race now, we're going to go through the top 10. And currently out in front is the number 21 of Jason Martin, who is absolutely flying about 3 seconds up the track. In the second at the moment is Matty Collett. He's got a few car lengths over Stephen Clark, who's currently in 3rd. 4th, Thomas Heens. He's starting to get a bit of pace in the back of him at the moment. He's found a bit of nitrous in the tank, it seems like. He's trying to run down Stephen Clark. Danny G's in 5th position. There's a bit of a 3-car battle going on at the moment. The 6th of Kai Sloggett in 6th. 7th is the 10-car of Dave Douglas. He's just hanging on for the ride there. He's trying to not hit the wall there too much. A bit more further down the track now is the number 2 of Josh Mickamore. We said he'll be coming through the pack, and he's at 8th for the moment. He'll be hoping for probably a yellow flag to try and bunch the field back up a bit more. 9th is the number 12 of Bruce Smith. He's just saying, "G'day guys, I'm here and I'm trying my best." He's like, should be a late runner for sure. And running at your top 10 at the moment is Riley Curtis in 93.
Yeah, when we were running down that top 10, Danny G actually moved his way up into 5th position. Kaislag is dropping like a rock currently. He is in 6th position. Dave Douglas is right behind him. May have used up his tires a little bit earlier than he wanted. That's allowed Danny G to move up into that top 5. As we also see for that 3rd position, really starting to beat up. Thomas Heen trying to catch Stephen Clark, and as you can see, he's trying to get a huge run and try to slingshot down the straightaway. He's going to have a huge run going down into the 3. Stephen Clark tried to throw the block on him, but it was a little too late, and that's going to leave 52, Thomas Heen's. And there is a yellow flag. Looks like we might have a car around in turn 2. That is the number 444, Craig Rawls. It looks like the number 09 of Roger Clark just gave him a nudge going in through 1 and 2, and that is going to be it's an ill-advised caution at the current moment because they can run about 50 or so laps, and that's going to be what we're going to have when we go back green. So, if it stays green for the rest of the race, it's going to be extremely interesting. You guys are they're going to want to save fuel, but they want to go fast also.
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting. I'm sure they'll all head down pit lane. They'll all need tyres. They've put 26 laps on these tyres, Ryan, and they'll be as hot as all at the moment. So we'll see them all duck and dive down pit lane. You might see a couple of them stay out if they have previously gone down pit lane, but from my understanding, I don't see many of them down pit lane other than Mr. Norman Clark, the number 7 car. We see the number 21, Jason Martin, our leader. He'll duck down that lane first. Matthew Cole and Thomas Sims ran at top 3 down the lane, is making sure they don't hit that speed limit. Not over the speed limit of pit lane, because that can be a costly stop also.
Yeah, here it's actually pretty fast speed limit. You have an 89 kilometer speed limit. So you can kind of rock 89 to 90. Extremely good. Most of these guys will kind of roll through about 87 or 88 just sure. As we see Jason Martin in his box, really clean. Kai Sloggett just rolled on through. It looks like he missed his box. Kai Sloggett missed his box.
That's so going to be very... Sorry, you go.
Yeah, he'll have to come back down if he wants to make a pit stop, as Matthew Cloet actually gets the first position. So he will beat Jason Martin off the pit. So this race just got really interesting really quick.
Yeah, and as we were speaking about Kai Sloggett, that's very unfortunate. He has missed his box. He didn't prepare earlier on the race, figuring out where his box might have been. So if he does want to come down, he'll go back to the end of the line. But at the moment, that's quite upsetting for him, as him and the number 30 car of Matt Danson are currently sitting up there at the pace car. Matt Danson is a few laps down, as we remember from the start of the race. He came out after a few engine issues. His team got it back together. The officials allowed him to come out in green flag racing.
So he is, Matt Danson in that 30 car is actually leading in the truck series that we run here on Monday nights on our channel here. He is running not a very good race in his mind, but he is speed-wise running extremely well. He's running comparable to Jason Martin, just did not get his qualifying lap in. Not extremely good for him. He actually did qualify 9th place, but he had this issue before the race started. We'll keep him 3 laps down running. We are on lap 20. We are on lap 28. We are under our first yellow, and it's been some extremely good racing. And Kai Sloggett is actually stay out on the track. That's an interesting little tidbit, because he is running tires. His fastest lap was a 40.612. The last lap that he ran full green was a 42.2. So you're almost 2 seconds slower than what you qualified at, maybe about a second and a half slower. So if he does not come down and get tires, he is banking on a extremely quick caution, because 1.5 seconds when everybody's bunched up is an eternity, and he will be biting himself.
Controversy out in the track at the moment. Kai Sloggett, for anyone tuning in, missed his pit box on the yellow flag just now, as he's going to come down pit lane. As it'd be most necessary if he does come down pit lane. He'll be looking out for his box this time for sure. And Matt Clowett gets quickest off pit lane over Jason Martin, Thomas Hins, and Danny G. And Stephen Clark dropped a position, coming out of pit lane. So that will be very unfortunate. He'll round out the top 5.
Yep, so we'll see if Matthew Clowett can kind of slow down Jason Martin and what Matthew Clowett is going to want to have happen is he's going to want some of these guys to make passes on Jason Martin early in the run, so that Jason Martin has to make a couple of passes back. We have seen that this track is it's hard to pass on unless the guy in front of you makes a mistake. Jason Martin doesn't make mistakes, but if you're running in the top 5, you're pretty good at not making mistakes.
As the pace car lights are now off on the track, they come down the back straight as they bunch up too wide now for the restart. The pace car will peel down pit lane, and Matty Clowett will have a chance to get that lead as the pace car starts to come down the track. Get ready to send them green flag racing once again here at Auto Club Speedway. 80 laps tonight, guys. We're on lap 29 on the pacing lap. We'll go lap 30. Then we go back green flag racing. Been a great race so far, one caution, and a lot of racing at single file at the moment as the pace car gets ready to come down pit lane. Ryan, down it goes. It's going to be up to Matty Clowett and Jason Martin. They will set the pace for the field, and they're green as Matty Clowett gets a nice jump off the start. Even further back, Dave Douglas gets a nice run. As Matty Clowett will now send it too wide back in the field. Thomas Hins and Danny G, they're too wide along with Dave Douglas, Steven Stanman, Clark.
Yeah, you can see Matty Clowett is trying to make the most of it as he is absolutely flying off the start. And just a few guys. Oh, we have one car out in the wall. Huge wreck. 213.777 is out. And 16 of Gavin Winder and James Zeitz all get collected, and a little bit of a mess there coming off turns. Cautions breed cautions, and that's what happens. We'll see what happened here. We'll hit our replay. It looks like the 777 of Wayne Priest just tapped Roger Clark, and that sent him flying. But then there's also a secondary wreck with the James Zeitz 16, which was actually caused from Darren McKenzie. Darren McKenzie came down when they were 4 wide, and Josh Micklemore, one of our contenders we were talking about pre-race, he's actually involved in that too. So a lot of major players ended up in that one.
Yeah, they had 3 wide coming around the corner. They weren't looking too steady on the gas pedal. It looked to be a bit struggling, but as we say that, still out in front is Matty Clowett. He is leading over Jason Martin. Thomas Hins, Stephen Clark has regained 4th position. Danny G's back in 6th position. Bruce Smith out of nowhere has come to 5th position. He's got his dancing shoes on. He's battling his way up through the field. Riley Curtis will take over 8th position. 9th will be Stephen Williams, and Daniel Stevens will make the top 10.
Yeah, as we see, Matthew Clowett is still leading this pack of 22 cars that are on the lead lap still, 21 cars that are still on the lead lap. He will run 40.655. Jason Martin right behind him at 40.659. So 4 1,000ths per second. As we see Thomas Hines, he's going for that 2nd position. He wants to get past Jason Martin. That'll be a huge boost for him, as Jason Martin has absolutely ran train on this field all year long, and Thomas Heens wants to tell Jason Martin that he is no longer the fastest.
Yeah, saying that, Ryan. No, up the inside comes Jason Martin. He's not marking around anymore. He wants to get this over and done with this pass. He doesn't want to sit behind him too much longer. Would have been nice to see him sit behind him there, save a bit of fuel, but it looks like he's going to try and gain this lead back here on lap number 34 of 80 as he gets by Matty Chloe. Steven Sandman Clark is coming up on 4th position. There's Thomas Hins now is still all over the back of Matty Chloe, and he's about pinned down at the moment, and they are about a car width between each of them, so it's quite a good battle at the moment between the three of them. It's turning into a great race so far, Ryan. A lot of great battles, nice passing, and it's pretty clean so far.
I would see Daniel Stevens. He is running that apron, trying to get past Stephen Williams for that 9th position. He's wanting to do his way up through that top 10 and try to get himself a nice little single file run so he can start to save his tires. Most importantly, save that fuel.
Yeah, there's a bit of a battle going on at the moment. Kai Sloggett's built himself back up to 14th position in the 6th car, but between the 5 car of Phil Otto and Kai Sloggett, there's 4 car battle going on, and they're going alright. The 444 car of Craig Lawless is getting back up through the field also, who's in now 12th position.
Yeah, as we see Danny G is kind of out by himself right in front of this pack. And then we have Daniel Stevens is still trying to run away from Roger Clark there in that 10th position. Not going to be good for his tires. He can keep that top 10 position for himself.
We'll read out the top 10 at lap number 40 to keep you guys posted on where everyone's standing if you're not watching the little interval ticker down the bottom. But yeah, it's too much going on at the moment to keep watch of that one. There's a lot of cars are out there battling out. You still see Roger Clark and the number 66 of Daniel Stevens battling it out. As Kai Sloggett is now all the way up to 12th position. He's gained another 2 positions in about a lap, so he's trying to battle his way through. He'll be tearing up his tyres though. There's Roger Clark and Daniel Stevens go too wide down the back straight in the turn number 3. There's up the inside with the 09 car of Roger Clark.
Yeah, it looks like that MFR team, they are hands off on their drivers. They do not mind them racing each other as hard as they can. As we see, that top line is better through the straightaways, and the bottom line is better through the corners. That's why oval racing is so good. You have so many lines that you can take, and so many different ways you can make this race happen for yourself. Right behind the pack of Roger Clark and Daniel Stevens, you do see Phil Otto and Kai Sloggett. Kai Sloggett actually started well back in the pack because he missed his pit stop. He's up into the 11th position, making his way into the top 10. We'll see if he can make his way into that top 5 where he was at. He was actually running in the 6th position when the yellow came out at lap 25. And currently running in that 10th position, working that 9th position on the number 09 of Roger Clark. And Craig Wallace, he was involved in that early race, early green incident out the first lap. He is currently running in the 13th position, about to make the pass on Phil Otto. So Craig Wallace, good run for him too. He managed to make a great rebound off his yellow.
As we make it to the halfway mark of this wonderful Auto Club 80-lap race, we are 40 laps in, and it's pairing up to be a great shape. We're going to quickly go over the top 10 for you guys so you know where your favourite driver is sitting at. And currently in first position is Jason Martin, the 21 car. Currently not too far behind, he's just about a couple car lengths behind Matty Clowett. Thomas Hins is on the tail of those two. in 3rd position. Stephen Sandman Clark in 4th. Bruce Smith in 5th. Those two are having a bit of a battle at the moment. 6th is Riley Curtis. He's out in no man's land in between a couple of packs. At the moment, for 7th and 8th, there's a bit of a battle going on. Danny G is now in 7th position. He just passed Dave Douglas, who is in 8th position. Daniel Stevens in 9th position, and Kai Sloggett has made his way from the back of the pack into the top 10. And he'll round out the top 10. Just sitting outside is Roger Clark in the 11th position. Ryan, is tearing up to be one hell of a race so far. And what are you thinking of it so far? How are you feeling the racing's been? We've had that caution. How do you think that's impacted the race?
I think it's impacted the race in a way that we won't see yet as we work lap 42 of 80. We're still just past halfway on this race. As you see, Kai Sloggett is still trying to make his way through the field. He's got his whole team is right around him, so he's trying to just make it around these MFR guys. He's one himself. It's really interesting to see how Jason Martin has not really pulled away just yet. He's extremely good on these long runs. The longer we go, the bigger his lead gets. Because currently, right now, he's only about 3/10 ahead of Matthew Cloet as he just ran a 41.30. Matthew Cloet ran a 41.4 as he just got really loose coming off turn 2. He tapped that apron just a little bit too much. That was not the best for what he was looking for. It's actually slowed him down a lot more than he wanted. And Thomas Heath is going to have a chance to catch up to the back of the 54 of Matthew Cloet. It was a really interesting race. About how I expected this race to go. But that race for the 8th position is starting to heat up as Daniel Stevens is trying to make time on Dave Douglas while also trying to keep his teammate Kai Sloggett back. And it's there's a bit of a battle pack going on right here for the 8th position on the 44th lap.
Yeah, Kai Sloggett looked like he was going to try and go on the outside of Daniel Stevens there. Said maybe that might not work as he's under fire now from Clark. And it's the 4 of them there, the 5 of them even if you put Craig Lawless in then in the car. Ooh, sorry, that's not Craig Lawless, my fault. Matt Danson, who's a couple laps down, he's trying to battle his way back through the field. He's pretty quick out there at the moment. He's going to go in, but to try and go under Dave Douglas, who seems to have a bit of trouble there. He's now 2 wide down the front straight. Goes Kai Sloggett, Daniel Stevens. Sorry, my mistake. 2 cars there, the 1866 car. Sorry. Daniel Stevens and Kai Sloggett for 8th position. There's then Roger Clark. But look who's coming through the pack at the moment. Matt Dawson, he's flying.
Yeah, he's currently, like we said, during that yellow period, he's currently our Truck Series leader. This is one of his first, if not his first time driving for us in the Xfinity Series. He is extremely fast. He's running very comparable times to what you see up in the front position. Unfortunately, he just did not, he wasn't able to make the start. But currently those MFR guys have a little bit of a train running right now from 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th position. They have every single one of those spots taken. So it's extremely nice to see the team out here in full capacity. We're working lap 47 as we just finished up 46. Jason Martin is still, he is starting to make that lead that we were talking about earlier in the race, make it a lot larger than we originally thought it was going to be at the start of this run. We thought Matthew Cloet may have been able to hold him off for just a little bit, but I think Cloet ran his tires out just a little bit too early. And now that we're 17 laps into this run, it's starting to show what Jason Martin is actually capable of in these cars.
Yeah, he's able to control the car and just set the steady pace where he just sets those consistent lap times He's running about the 40.5, 40.6 range at the moment. And that's perfect. He's able to pull away from Matty Cloward, as he said, and he's able to just set that groove, find his line, and pull that line into place, and just keep charging forward. He's got nothing ahead of him at the moment where he's got to worry about lap traffic or anything like that getting by them. So he's got a pretty much a clean track at the moment. He's just like he's practicing at the moment.
Yeah, we start to see the 93 car of Riley Curtis is starting to come under a little bit of pressure from Danny G. Danny G had started this race out in the 11th position. Currently working Riley Curtis here for 6th position. He goes low in that number 24 MFR car. He'll go low going into turn 1. We'll see if he can make the pass. He will not clear him just yet. It'll be all up to how he exits and see if he can keep the block on for Riley Curtis. As Curtis just looks to give him the room that he needed, and Danny G will take that 6th position away.
As we say that, Kai Sloggett is up the inside of Daniel Stevens now. He's got the 8th position, but Matt Dawson, as we said, is flying through the pack. He's had the quickest lap of the race for quite some time now, since about lap number 2, which would have been lap number 5 for most of the vehicles in track. So he's flying at the moment. He's trying to get that lap back, and he'll be hoping for a couple of cautions, a couple of quick cautions. That will bunch the field back up. He'll get the lucky dog possibly if his first lap car down, if I'm correct. But as we're talking about that, Kai Sloggett now gets the clear on Daniel Stevens, and he'll be charging forward at this point in time. He's been one to watch out for this race for sure. He's showing quite a fair bit of speed. Someone who hasn't been out in the race for quite a while, one that's highly spoken about in qualifying and practice, is Jake Malone. He's been out for quite some time now. Sorry for not letting you guys go. About 35 laps ago, 33 laps ago, he was he pulled out. Oh, 30 laps ago, sorry, he pulled out of the race, and along with that, Nicholas Walsh also pulled out of the race. So there are 2 retirees so far in the race. And they've packed the car up, taken it to the garage, and put it on the trailer, prepared for next week.
Yeah, that top 10 battle is starting to get really hot. Craig Wallace has joined in. As we said earlier, he was the cause for the caution earlier, as Roger Clark, the guy he is just past, they kind of gave each other a little bit of a run-in, and Craig Wallace is really starting to make his way back to the field. He qualified 18th, ended up on the first lap. He ended up in dead last after he made a huge error going into turn 1. And now he is fighting for a top 10 finish. Craig Wallace might be the driver of the day for me currently as we work lap 52. Currently has nowhere to go as we were speaking about him. Right in front of him is Daniel Stevens and Kai Sloggett. Both of those guys are running side by side, racing extremely hard for that 8th position. As you see, Roger Clark, he is going to go ahead and make a pit stop. And we are on lap 53, and he is making a pit stop currently. It looks like he is doing this for insurance, and he does not want to save any fuel.
Yeah, we'll see if that will affect him quite big time. Personally, I think stopping might have been a good move, but it could have also been a bad move, considering how much of fuel they're using. Ryan, it will affect obviously how much they can last. Along with that, the tyres, he might be pulling in now. We've got about 25 laps on the clock, 26 laps to go. He might be able to push those tyres for the last 26 laps and possibly get those positions back and go for higher.
Yeah, it looks like the fuel might be a little bit more than what everybody expected. I know during the daytime you can run about 45 or so laps on a single tank. As we are focusing now on the number 12 car, Bruce Smith, who has come out of nowhere. He did not even put in the qualifying time. Started in 23rd position, now is in 3rd. He just made the pass on the number 52 of Thomas Haynes, and he is he's starting to run away from him just a little bit. But you might not be able to run as long as you thought you'd be able to, because with the higher grip levels at the night, you're going to be on the throttle more. So these guys might be running about 42 to 43 laps on fuel. And Roger Clark said, well, it's probably going to go green for the rest of the race, so might as well go ahead and pit now. Currently in the 20th position, 1 lap down. So we'll see if he can't make an advantage on that undercut, as he is back on track where he was before. He's in the exact same spot he was at on track, but now he's with fresh tires and a lap down versus where Craig Wallace is in 7th position. You can see the difference in old tires and new tires just by watching the 09 and the 444 go at it.
Yeah, as you said that, we've had 4 more cars come down pit lane. Danny G and Daniel Stevens, Kai Slogger and Josh Mickelmore all come down pit lane at the same time. And it's worked out well for Roger Clark, as he's past Josh Mickelmore out there at the moment, along with Daniel Stevens and Kai Sloggett. So that one's worked out really well for him, and he's got easily half a straight down on him.
Yeah, the biggest move for him was Daniel Stevens and Kai Sloggett. Josh Mickelmore was further back in the pack. You can see that damage that was on the front of him was caused by that early green flag wreck that didn't go yellow. Riley Curtis is currently in the pit lane also from his 3rd position he was in.
Yep, James Zeitz, the 19 car, is down in pit lane. He's been in there for quite a while, not quite sure. As that team might be doing a bit of work on the car. We'll see what happens to him, as the pit teams are busy down there at the moment preparing themselves for everyone. Just reminding everyone, we had 23 cars out there, and it's been a great race so far. Lap 58 of 80, and Jason Martin is he's gone. He's got about a 2.2 second lead on Matty Clowett, who has had an exceptional race so far. Ryan coming off first on pit lane, and wow, it's been wonderful so far.
Yeah, and if I'm Matthew Clowett, I'm seeing all these guys pitting, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm going to go ahead and pit now to get the undercut on Jason Martin, because the difference between new tires and old tires is tremendous, but the difference between 1 lap and 3 laps is not that much. So if I'm Matthew Clowett, I think I would be looking to pit now to see if I couldn't get a little bit of space to try to see if I could catch up and pass Jason Martin just from being on new tires. That'd be my current thinking if I'm Matthew Clowett. But if you're Jason Martin, you don't want to be, you don't want to get undercut, that's for sure. So Jason Martin, I would also want to pit now. So we'll see if either of them decide to pit. We see Gavin Winther. Yep, Jason Martin is going into the pits. This is not good for Matthew Clowett. Not good at all. He's going to lead a lap, but he's going to be very far behind because Jason Martin is going to have those brand new tires.
Yeah, in saying that, by the time Matty Clowett comes back around the gap he had on him, he'd probably almost be just coming out of pit lane. So, considering that he'll already be pretty much on his tail, it's not like Matty Clowett will have much of a lead. And that will hurt him quite bad, as we'll see if Bruce Smith comes down pit lane this time by. As I'm sure hopefully we can be targeted on him and Matty Clowett, as Matty Clowett ducks and dives down. So Bruce Smith now will take a lap. As if we can I'll try and find Mr. Jason Martin on my cameras. He's just coming out of pit lane now. So he'll have the 16 of Gavin Windsor come by him. Bruce Smith is just a bit further back on the track. So it's these pit stops are definitely what can make or break a race. When you choose to pit, when you choose to, get off pit, where you get off pit lane, and how good your team is down on pit lane line, can definitely affect your race in the long run.
Oh yeah, definitely is. See, a few of these guys are just kind of filing out. We're just trying to get everybody. Currently, the leader is Bruce Smith. And when everything comes back around, Jason Martin will be your leader. As we see a few more guys fall off or come back onto the pack as Matthew Cloet is. Oh, if he didn't have a bad race coming back onto the track, he might have actually stayed in front of Jason Martin, but he's going to get passed by Stephen Clark also. So Matthew Cloet didn't have the best of pit stops there, but Stephen Clark has gotten really loose. Holy cow, Sandman! He was about to find the wall there, but currently Sandman is effectively in second position as he is right there behind Jason Martin and right in front of Matthew Cloet. So currently he is in that second position effectively, but on track currently he is ninth place as Bruce Smith will still continue to lead laps.
That's right, Ryan. As we say that, Bruce Smith does come down pit lane now. He'll there's still a few cars to go out in pit lane. Stephen Stanman, Clark, Thomas Hins has come down pit lane. Stephen Williams, Riley Curtis. You know, there's been a fair few down pit lane now with 17 laps to go. It's going to be one hell of a race for sure, as everyone's going to be good on tyres for now. Everyone's going to be battling up, trying to get back to that front position and seeing where they can go from there. Just to let everyone know, everyone is pretty fair in the field. Most drivers are an A-class driver.
Matthew Cloet has spun around on the backstretch. Matthew Cloet has gone around. He is not brought out the caution because he did happen off the racing surface. But Matthew Cloet, after having such a good race, he is going to have a hard time getting back up front unless he gets a caution. Right now he's currently out in no man's land, and we are unsure currently of the position that he is in, but he is going to drop like a rock.
He's dropped back to 16th position as I'm pretty sure our technical team cameraman Bernie Weemers tonight has got a for you guys. Is he just come off the turn and just was side by side and just had a bit of an issue there. He just seemed to have spun it. And he went down on the apron, got the car back together. So it's quite interesting what happened there. Not sure if he's come off the corner loose, has bounced off a rut in the track or a hole in the track or something like that. But yeah, he was just running side by side with Stephen Clark, and it was all over for him, unfortunately.
That's not really any good. For Matthew Cloet. He just had a little bit of an issue with Riley Curtis coming off that pit road, and it looked like it might have spooked him just a little bit.
So, not many laps to go now, guys. We've got about 14 laps on the board, and it's been one of a hell of a race so far. We're going to read off your top 10 for the final time before we hopefully can see the checkered flag. It's been a great race so far. One yellow flag has been brought out for tonight. Couple spins and incidents throughout the race, but they've been able to keep it clean, keep it straight, and the officials have kept the green flag racing. But running off your top 10 as we speak, considering that there is pit stops still to go here, guys. Phil Otto is currently running the lead in the number 5 car. Norman Clark, Darren Lord, Darren McKenzie, and Dave Douglas. Those guys have yet to pit. So, going from pretty much now 6th position down, Jason Martin is leading, Stephen Clark, Thomas Hins, Danny G, and Bruce Smith round out your provisional top 10, as we'll call it, before pit stops. Roger Clark, Kai Slogger, Daniel Stevens, Craig Lawless, and Matty Cloet back in 15th position. So it's a tight field at the moment, Ryan, and with still pit stops to go. And people coming out of pit lane, it's still a lot of incidents can happen in 13 laps.
And we saw, not sure we got it on camera or anything, but Riley Curtis pitted twice within 4 laps of each other. And it was a full pit. It wasn't like a drive-through or anything, so I'm not exactly sure what was going on for him. But he came down and had 2 full pits within 3 or 4 laps of each other, so he might have had a speed penalty, which is just a drive-through, and then he just decided that he was going to take a pit stop also. So we'll have to follow up with him after the race, but I'm not exactly sure what happened there.
Yeah, he was down the lane for 48 seconds and 15 seconds in the pit box. So generally that's about a full tyre set and fuel for the car. Maybe possibly on the first stop something went wrong. He's had to come back round. Not quite sure. They might have missed the lug nut on the wheel. We're not quite sure, to tell you the truth, Ryan.
One thing that could be happening here is Phil Otto could be trying to save enough fuel to make it to the end. He doesn't have enough laps, as he's got 12 laps. He's got 11.5 laps remaining in this race. He doesn't have enough laps to keep the speed up that Jason Martin is having, but he might have enough fuel to bring in a really good finish.
Yeah. We've got an update on Riley Curtis. He got loose in turn 4. He had to go down pit road to rescue the car, so he would have lost a lot of grip off those tyres, teared them up having a spin off turn 4. So he would have had to go down pit lane, grab another full set. That crew down there would be very busy at the moment. He was just burn off 2 sets of tyres within, you know, a couple minutes, and that's going to hurt him for sure. But 10 laps to go now, guys. Phil Otto, he's on lap number 43 of his stint, so he's coming to the end of his stint in the unfortunately, it looks like Jason Martin's only about 9 seconds, 8 seconds. He's gaining even quicker as we speak about it down the track. So he's going to try and make as much ground on his current group of drivers as Norman Clark, Darren Lord also, and Darren McKenzie is still yet to pit, and Dave Douglas, who also are yet to pit in the top 10.
Yeah. Thomas Haynes actually made it past Stephen Clark that time for that 6th position. Stephen Clark does have some right front damage. He has tapped the wall at some point, I believe, probably turn 4. That is normally the one you run into. Currently, you do see Phil Otto leading, but only by 8.5 seconds. As he does come into the pit, Phil Otto is in the pits now. He is running that number 5 car down pit road on lap number 72. He'll give it up to Norman Clark, and Norman Clark is going to just keep trying to drive it in the hope that he can make it to the end. He only has 9 laps to go until the end of the race. He has 9 laps of fuel. You're running it all the way. This will be a great finish for Norman Clark if you can just hold on to the fuel, because if he holds on to the fuel, he might not take the win. But he will definitely be able to take a top 5, as we haven't seen too many people pit just yet. Darren McKenzie is trying to hold on to that top 5, but Sandman's just going to take it away from him.
Yeah, Sandman, Stephen Clark has got a fresh tyre set on him. Darren McKenzie now on 45 laps on these tyres, even 46 now as we are speaking about it. Don't you love how stuff changes on the fly? It's about 7 laps to go now, guys. We're coming to the end of this one hell of a race as Jason Martin has finally regained the lead back over Norman Clark now. It's sure is going to be a good race. Sorry, I'm starting to lose my voice. We're all good now. Jason Martin has dominated this race so far, and Stephen Clark and Thomas Hins have all been around there, and sorry, as we've had a bit of a producer thing come through. We're all good. Yeah, Jason Martin has had a wonderful race. Thomas Hins and Stephen Clark. Danny G's even had a great race down there. Not quite sure what's going on, but Kai Sloggett, he's currently in 11th position. He was running very well earlier on in the race too, but considering we've still got 3 cars in the top 10 to pit, he might gain a few positions back.
So the 2 interesting ones currently are Norman Clark and Darren Lord. Jason Martin just took the lead for his final time. If all goes well for the rest of the race, Jason Martin will probably take this lead, just win away, as the 2 guys behind him have not pitted yet. They're both just trying to hope and pray they can make it to the end on fuel. Him and Darren Lord are slowly getting around the rest of this track, as Norman Clark is really slow coming off turn 2. I was trying to listen to hear if I could hear an issue with his fuel, but it looks like he's just now coming in. He's out. He's out of fuel. Norman Clark is out of fuel, so now it all comes down to Darren Lord. If Darren Lord can make it around this track, he's only got five more laps to make it around. If he has enough fuel to make it, I'm staying out as long as I can.
Yeah, well, he's run 49 laps so far, guys. Well, he's on lap 49. He's run 48.5 laps at the moment. He's hasn't got much, wouldn't have much left in the tank at all, and those tyres he's hanging on the last thread of them. So with 4 laps to go, I'm not quite sure you'll be able to do it. You might have to come in this time by, get a quick splash and dash, and head back out and try and get a couple of positions. As Jason Martin has got his biggest lead over Steven Sandman, Thomas Hins, who's currently second, a 7-second gap. As Darren Lord comes on into the pit lane. 3 laps to run as Jason Martin, guys, once again is your Steven Sandman, Clark, Bruce Smith and Danny G round out the 5 of tonight's event. You're just tuning in, you're tuning into the end, the close to the end, the best part of the race. Lap 77 of 80 here at Auto Club Speedway, the NASCAR Xfinity Thursday Night Thunder Series. It's been a great race, brought to you by ANZCAR, and a lot of clean racing tonight. 1 yellow flag and a big shout out to the chat at the moment. Top Split sitting in there, I can see that. And I think Sam Racing might still be sitting in here watching us. So thank you guys for sticking around and chat to us. Let's call the last few laps of this race ride.
Yeah, and the biggest battle we have currently is Roger Clark and Dave Douglas. Dave Douglas is got in that 6th position. Right behind him is that number 09 of Roger Clark. Roger Clark, I do believe, is on newer tires than what Dave Douglas is on. And as you can see, he just runs right on by him for that 6th position. And that's the difference between those newer tires and those older tires. It's so easy just to kind of place the car wherever you want. And as you can see, still Roger Clark is just going to start to run away. Dave Douglas is on those older tires. Pitted. He was one of the first to pit. He is just dropping like a rock currently.
Yeah, big move at the moment. Bruce Smith up the inside of Sandman Clark for 3rd position. This is for your podium. 2 laps to run now as Jason Martin's leading. They come down the back straight too wide as we're just going to keep a tab on both of them at the moment. Jason Martin's coming off 4 and he's going to try and hold this car straight. But these two are having a good battle at the moment. Sandman's blocking as much as he can. Bruce Smith in the number 12 car is on the outside, doesn't want to get pinched into the wall. We got 1 to run. The white flag is out, Ryan.
Yeah, we have 1 lap remaining. As we see, Sandman is going to have that inside line, but we've known for the rest of the race that that outside line is where you want to be. Bruce Smith also does not have any damage on that car. As we see, Sandman does have that right fender damage. So it's going to come into play here. We have 1 more.
Jason Martin goes sideways, going to turn 3. So cut you out, Ryan. He might have been doing it. He'll hold it. He's that would look like I switched over to him on my camera set, and it looks like he might have lost it coming in the turn 3.
We have a huge race for the 3rd position. The 12 of Bruce Smith made a huge dive. They touch. And Sandman's going to go for it. No, he did. He didn't get it. And Bruce will get him at the line. That was a wild final lap. Jason Martin comes home with the win. Thomas Hines, just an invisible 2nd place from him. He ran an extremely good race. Bruce Smith gained 20 spots to put himself in the 3rd. And Stephen Clark lost a spot to finish up in the 4th position. Danny G will round up our top 5 as the fireworks were on the track and off the track.
Wow, what a race, guys. 80 laps around the Auto Club Speedway, and it was 1 here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's Jason Martin almost lost the lead coming in the turn number 3. He went a bit sideways. And Bruce Smith gains a 3rd position to put himself in the podium over Steven Sandman Clark coming out of turn number 4. What a huge race for tonight. And we're going to get into interviews shortly, I'm sure. But as all the cars come back down in the pit lane, congratulations, firstly, to Jason Martin Thomas Hins is second, and Bruce Smith is your podium for tonight.
Yep, and so we'll go through the standings, or the final results here from the Auto Club Speedway. Jason Martin comes home with the win. Thomas Haynes will be in that second position. Bruce Smith and Stephen Clark, the class of the field, finished up in that third and fourth position. Danny G, just 11 seconds out of the lead, will finish up in the top 5. Roger Clark, 6th. Kai Sloggett will be 7th. Craig Lawless will be in 8th. Danny Stevens finished up in the 9th position, and Matthew Clutt finished out our top 10. Josh Nicklemore and Dave Douglas were the last two on the lead lap. Dave Douglas actually ran out of gas on that final lap to finish up in that 12th position. Stephen Williams, Dwayne Priest, Darren Lord will be in your top 15. Just outside of that is Norman Clark, Phil Otto, Darren McKenzie, James Zeitz, Riley Curtis, with that issue he had there on the coming off turn 4. He will finish up in the 20th position. Matt Danson was unable to get his laps back and will finish 3 laps down in the 21st position, but he did have such a great race for himself. Gavin Windsor, Jake Maloney, and Nicholas Walsh will round out the 24 that we had sign up for this race.
Wonderful race tonight. We'll just quickly go over our biggest moves and shakers. There's Bruce Smith come from 23rd position, as you mentioned, Ryan, finished in 3rd position. He's up 20 positions. Looking a bit further down the field, Jake Maloney, unfortunately, our biggest loser for tonight. He started in 2nd position. I had him tip for 2nd position and come home in 23rd position. Didn't know anything about 64 laps, so 16 laps in if my math could be done any more correctly. So it was one hell of a race today, Ryan, and it was an awesome one to call for sure. We'll get some confirmation from the producers who will be interviewing first. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is bring up our 4th place. We're going to get Ryan, he's down in pit lane at the moment, and he'll be down in the race, the garage of Stephen Sandman Clark.
What's going on, Sandman? That was a wild finish for y'all. I wasn't in the Camaro.
Mate, she was an absolute handful on 2 tyres. That was a gamble I had to take. No, the car wasn't very good tonight. That was all my fault. I probably overdrove it. I don't have a good reputation of looking after tyres. So, we took the gamble on taking 2 tyres there and just couldn't hold off for P3. But it was an awesome, awesome race.
Yeah, we noticed you'd moved up from the back side of the top 10 to the front side. So I was wondering if you'd taken a different set of tires or what have you, or you just pitted a little bit earlier and tried to undercut like you did at Las Vegas. But with those 2 tires, the car was a little bit looser than expected.
Yeah, it was actually, for me, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, probably the first 5 laps, it was absolutely horrible. I thought I was going to spin out every corner. But as the sort of laps wore on, the tyre actually got a little bit better. I touched the wall coming out of turn 4, probably with about 10 laps to go, maybe, I think it was, and that actually helped a little bit too. So I was quite grateful that and sort of tightened up the car a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty tricky on 2 tyres, and but at the end of the day, that's the gamble we had to take. We, like I said, we weren't that great, and it was the best idea to get this hybrid race simulations car up as high as we could.
Yeah, that was a wild final corner there. It looked like he tried to go towards the bottom, but there was already a car there. How was that?
Yeah, that was just great race. And I actually keyed the radio and told Bruce, I said that was actually awesome, and couldn't congratulate him anymore because that was a great drive. And I wanted to give him racing room, and that's what you got to do. You got to give a little bit of racing room, but you don't want to give it to him too easy, especially on the last corner. But look, at the end of the day, I knew he had 4 tyres. I knew I only had 2, and I wasn't going to be able to hold it as low as I probably would have liked. And he dived in there, and it was well deserved. And I tried a little bit of beating and banging on his doors, but once he got in front of me, there was no way I was going to touch him again, because the last thing you want to do is spin someone out just to get a P3. So, yeah, it was well deserved, and my hats off to Bruce. That was a great drive.
Yeah, it was looking. I was expecting a 2003 Darlington repeat where you're all just banging each other coming toward the line. But that was a little more civil than I would have had for P3 at the end of that race. Y'all were really close on gas, it looked like, because it looked like Dave Douglas was the only one who didn't pit, but everybody else ran out. How was that at the end there?
Yeah, I probably put in a little bit too much for my stop, but I knew I was going to take 2 tyres anyway, so I probably put a little bit more than I needed to. But look, at the end of the day, it didn't stop me. I still got out of the pits just as the jack dropped for the 2 tyres, so that didn't bother me too much. But at the end of the day, I knew the 2 tyres was a gamble, and I'd do it all again. Actually, I'm pretty happy with the 4th place position because we weren't looking real good halfway through that race, and we just kept sliding backwards. And I'll take that P4.
Right on. Well, we'll see you next week. We'll if you have anybody you want to shout out there.
Yeah, well, of course, everyone at Trans-Tasman Racing, everyone at Hybrid Race Simulations, and, of course, Leo Bodner for all getting behind me for my oval track program. I'm really enjoying the Thursday Night Thunder series. Big thank you to everyone at RRTV too for all what you do behind the scenes, and it's great that you guys go to the effort to put this series out there for everyone to watch, and hopefully everyone enjoyed the show.
Well, if the racing was anything like tonight, one of these days I got to get out of this booth and get on track with y'all and see if we can have some fun.
It's exactly what happened to me, mate, when I was calling Scott, so I had to get in the race car.
Right on. Well, we'll see you next week, and enjoy your time off.
Cheers, mate.
So next up, we're going to have Thomas Heems, who finished up in that 3rd position, or finished up in the 2nd position. Thomas, you had a really good race, but slightly uneventful there at the end.
Yeah, thanks. It was a good run. Sitting up there, plodding along at the qualified 7th, which is good. Up towards the front, and just kept it clean, kept the tyres alive, and picked away. And it was seeing nice at the caution. I think 3rd, I just got Sam out of the caution. He was just let me through because I was coming at him pretty quick on keeping the tyres alive a bit more, it seemed, and he let me through. And then the caution was called right as he let me through, which is a bit of a one of those things. But pitted and came out I think about 3rd again, and then just ran to the end and did the stop, and it was in the clear. But Martin, Jason's just it was a bit, as you say, it was a bit of a quiet end there, just getting by the guys who had been out for longer. But aside from that, it was a bit of a quiet end. But Jason was just too strong. He was just too strong there with his strategy and his pace. So I don't think there's much I could have done to fight him there. But hey, I'll happily take a 2nd. That's another really solid result. Keeps the form going on from the last race and from the Cup Series as well. So hopefully keep rolling on for the weeks to come.
Yeah, we're noticing that some of these guys were taking pits a little bit sooner than what y'all were. I was surprised that either you or Bruce Smith or one of the other guys up front weren't taking pits as early as I expected y'all to try to get an undercut on Jason. Were y'all just expecting a caution, or did you think that it was just going to be better staying out?
Yeah, I think I was just thinking better to stay out. I think in those scenarios, even under green flag running, I think there's a bit of merit to staying out that bit longer. Even if it's only 5 or 6 laps, it can be really crucial in having that pace to come through at the end of the race. And I think I was actually thinking of pitting earlier than I did initially, but I was kind of watching what Jason and everyone else was doing, and I saw they weren't pitting. I thought, well, it's probably best that I stay out, because I figured if I went too early, then they could come at me at the end, and I might end up losing post overall. So, I probably could have maybe gone a little earlier and seen what happened, but I don't think it would have really mattered in the end to the results. I mean, Jason only pit that 1 lap earlier, and I don't think it really made too much of a difference. I think he just genuinely had the pace. So it could have tried, but hey, it worked out anyway. As I said, I'm happy to get the 2nd. So hopefully keep it going. And it was good to race around here at night too. I'm used to running here, and I think it's late afternoon or so. Seems to be what the official series always does around here. So it was good to actually race around here in the night as well. So a bit different in these cars.
Well, that was a great race from you. Do you have anybody you want to thank for your 2nd place?
I guess just the usual, Rat Corp and Cacentric for their sponsorship. Big thanks to them, obviously. They're our main ones for the team here at ASM. Also, Sim Racing Collectibles, Jay's little venture he's starting up. Big thanks for him for allowing us to have the sponsor on the cars. I'm sure it'll be a great thing that he's going to be doing over there with that little venture. So big thanks to them, and big thanks as well to just the team, as always, for being awesome and making such a great fun time to race in this series and the others I do.
Alrighty. Well, we'll see you next week.
Sounds good, Dan. Thanks you guys as well for the broadcast, and yeah, I'll see you next week.
Alrighty, guys, as we've had interviews. Sorry, second place, Thomas Hins. Runner will get a hold of third place, Bruce Smith. He seemed to have run away to the bathroom or something like that. But here I am with our Auto Club Speedway winner for tonight, Jason Martin. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Good to be back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, great drive tonight, mate. You've done an exceptional job there in the No Fear 21 Mustang there. You've drove the wheels off it tonight and coming home with over 5 seconds of a gap over your competitors. How'd that feel?
Yeah, pretty good. After last week, I think I ended up 4th, so real happy to be back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, you drove the hell out of it there for sure. You're holding a steady pace at the start of the race. You're escaping away from the yellow come back on. What were your thoughts when that first yellow came back out?
Good to get a break and good to have some close racing again.
Yeah, you seem to be running away quite a fair bit there, and you got back out just trying to get. What was his? My fault here, guys. But yeah, you got Matty Clowett. He come out in pit. It's a bit early than you was. Did you expect that, or do you think possibly you had a bit of a leap down pit lane?
I always have terrible stops, so I always lose a couple of spots.
Yeah, well, it does happen at times. Your pit crew might not have been on the greatest night, but you come in for that second spot and you come back out and you pretty much just blitz the field from there on out. Coming on to the final lap there, I jumped onto your cameras, onto your car quickly, and I saw you went a bit sideways into turn 3. Was that on purpose or was that accidental?
Yeah, just having a bit of fun, getting it sideways.
Man, it's a bit of an upset if you had hooked it around, wouldn't you think?
I think everyone would have loved that.
I'm sure they would have for sure. No, it's Jason. I've got really no questions. I've got no further questions for you tonight. So, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank?
No, mate, no sponsors.
No sponsors, no worries. Alrighty, guys. So that's your first place winner. Your winner for tonight, Jason Martin. He's drove the car off exceptionally in that 21 No Fear car. So next down, jumping back to Ryan in the pit lane, we've got looks to be the next next person, Dave Douglas.
What's going on, Dave? I saw that you had ran out of gas there at the very end. How was it saving for that whole last stint?
Hey, g'day, guys. Yeah, it was pretty tough, to be honest. I made the call early to do it, and I wasn't sure how it was going to end. And I was obviously keeping an eye on the fuel number. I was just driving to it, and after a while, it slowly started coming back my way. And then, as it's coming down to the last couple of laps, I started feeling I wasn't going to make it. So I was really clutching it hard.
Yeah. Was it worrisome when you saw everybody else pitting and you were on this fuel saving strategy?
It wasn't so bad. I didn't expect them to pit so early, but I obviously saw the guys who I'd be racing and just watched where they were and how quick they were catching me. And then obviously once they passed me, there's not much I could do. I lost too much time at that point, so I just had to stick to it and just ride it out. And I think I was the only one that made it all the way.
Yeah, we were looking around. I do believe you're the only one who stayed on out. Now that you've done it, do you think it would have been better for you to make a stop?
Definitely. The stop would have worked better. I would have finished faster. I reckon maybe even a top 5 went begging there. But anyway, you live and learn. You know, it's the nature of the beast.
You gotta take chances when you're on these races, especially these long races. We were talking with Sam in earlier, and he was talking about 2 tires, and you decided not to ever pit. So you always got to take a little bit of a chance on some of these races. So if you have anybody you want to thank, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, just Riley Curtis Designs, obviously for the good paintwork again this season, Ash Media and CapSafe, and obviously RRTV for the broadcasts.
Well, we will see you next week, and hope what you learned tonight can move on with you next week.
Yeah, cheers, guys. We'll see how we go.
Alrighty, guys, that was your 12th place finisher, the number 10 car of Dave Douglas. I'm now down in the pit lane with unfortunate finisher, 20th position, Riley Curtis. Welcome to RRTV, mate. Unfortunate race for you tonight.
Yeah, g'day, boys. How are we all? Yeah, it was an interesting one. I took a 2-tire gamble. Did not work.
Yeah, you seem to have had a bit of a problem there. You seem to be running quite good early in the race. And then you had a bit of an incident, did you? Can you explain what happened there?
Just on the cold outside tyres with the warm insides, I pushed it too hard through 4, and more than once, and it just looped itself coming into pits. But I was lucky enough where it did spin, I could just drive through pit lane and drive back out.
Yeah, no. Did you pick up some more tyres on the way through? Because our telemetry said you stopped, but we just weren't quite sure.
On the second time I sort of lost it, I did, because otherwise I think I would have gone around again. So I just had to bite the bullet and finish where I did. Yeah,
fair enough. Well, not much from my understanding can remember is happened too early in the race. If you'd like to bring anything up you thought might have been a good or bad?
Everyone raced really well tonight. Like, the only thing I think we had 1 DNF out of 24 cars, which is quite impressive at Auto Club. But yeah, it was certainly awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Well, is there anything sponsors you'd like to thank before we go tonight?
I'll thank myself for doing the liveries with Riley Curtis Design. I've got CapSafe on board, as well as APCS computer parts.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's your 20th place finish tonight. 93 car of Riley Curtis.
No worries. Cheers for putting the show on for us, boys, and I'll catch us next week.
No worries. Wish you the best of luck, mate. Well, Ryan, that's it for interviews tonight. It's been one hell of a race. Auto Club Speedway in the ANZCAR Xfinity Series, the Thursday night thunder. Wrapping up tonight, how do you think you felt about the race?
I believe it was an extremely great race. It was, for a lot of people are going to say it was a boring race per se. I love these kind of races where there's a lot more strategy involved. We have more fuel mileage you have to deal with and tires, and we heard a couple guys take 2 tires, some take none. So I think these are the kind of races I enjoy. A lot of people don't enjoy them. I think the Las Vegas one is still probably the best one that we had today, or this season so far. So it's been an extremely great race tonight, and while the leaderboard doesn't show, it was a close race. We had action all over the track, and it was a really great race.
Yeah, it was one hell of a race for tonight, and we hope you guys all enjoyed the broadcast tonight. It's been a fun one. I do have to thank Ryan Shelton for jumping in the commentary box tonight. Once again, he does an excellent job every week. Bernie William is on the cameras tonight. He's done an exceptional job keeping the coverage going for you guys. And even though he's had a bit of a rough week with a bit of sickness, but he's done an exceptional job tonight. We're just going to go over tomorrow night. We've got the Australian Online Supercar Championship. Be sure to tune in for that one. It's going to be at Spa, if I'm correct, and it kicks off about Oh, sorry, Le Mans. My fault. I got the tracks a bit mixed up. It's going to be at Le Mans tomorrow night, and it's going to kick off a bit later in the night than the Enduros. It's going to be a 40-80 sprint. So we're going to kick off about 9:30 to 10ish. We'll get an official date for you guys out there on our social media pages. Be sure to check out the RRTV Facebook page, along with all our other ones, Twitch, and ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We hope you guys have enjoyed the night. Once again, this has been Bailey Hall. We've got Ryan Shelton in the commentary box and Bernie Weemers on cameras. Good night.